Mayor, I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Elmwood Park Mayor and Council to order for January 19th, 2017 at 8 p.m. On roll call, council members Cherto. Here. Dombrowski. Here. Golombek. Here. Bonsino. Here. Work. Here. Giandomenico.
Here.
Mayor Coletti.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Everybody please rise for our prayer and flag salute. Oh God, our Father, we ask you to bless our meeting, which we entrust to your fatherly care and protection. Please remove all selfishness and prejudice from our ears and implant therein a keen sense of justice and a greater love for you and our neighbors. Guide us in our deliberations so that our decisions will always please you and bring your peace and happiness to our community. Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Whereas Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of the State of New Jersey require at the commencement of every meeting a statement of compliance be read by the presiding officer. Now, therefore, be advised that the meeting requirements for this meeting have been met by publishing an annual meeting notice in the Record of Hackensack and by posting such notice in the office of the Borough Clerk as well as in the public place within the municipal building. And by notifying interested citizens, said notice was posted on January 5th, 2017. Ladies and gentlemen, we are being recorded on Cablevision this evening, Channel 77, on Tuesday, 12 p.m., Thursday, 4 p.m., and Friday at 10 a.m. The video is also available on the Borough's website at www.elmwoodparknewjersey.us. Mr. Kazmark?
Mayor, tonight we have the installation of fire department officers for the Elmwood Park Volunteer Fire Department. I would ask that everyone please rise. As our first and second lieutenants, Edward Mirjewski, James Mills, Peter Trewinski, Tyler Lewinsky, and Samantha Shavasta are escorted in by the Volunteer Fire Department Color Guard. The lieutenants would come up this way, and I'd ask Mayor Coletti to come down to swear in the lieutenants. And if we could have Councilman Work as the liaison to the fire department come down to hold the Bible.
One second, sir.
They're in size order. Right hand up, left hand on the Bible. Please be seated.
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the government established in the United States and in this state under the authority of the people, and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of the office of Fire Department Lieutenant according to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations.
Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to call forward the rank of captain for the Volunteer Fire Department, Robert Dornberger, Mike Jones, Greg Thompson, and James Downs. Gentlemen?
Right hand up. I solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
That I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
and that I will bear true faith
That I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the government established
and to the government established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties
all the duties
of the office of Fire Department Captain,
of the office of Fire Department Captain,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Keith and I are getting good at this.
Our next swearing in will be for the 2nd Battalion Chief, Robert Bruce.
Right hand up. I
I, Robert Bruce,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United
that
States
I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the government established
and to the government established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties of the office of
perform all the duties of the office of
2nd Battalion Chief
2nd Battalion Chief
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
I now ask our 1st Battalion Chief, Robert Shavasta Jr., to come forward with his family.
I
I, Robert Shavasta Jr.,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the government established
and to the government established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office of 1st Battalion Chief
of the office of 1st Battalion Chief
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
I'd now ask the Assistant Chief of the Department, who's no stranger to this position, Michael Sulik Jr., to please come forward.
Mike, you should have this memorized. I
I, Michael Sulik Jr.,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the government established
and to the government established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office of Assistant Chief,
of the office of Assistant Chief,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
And for this final escort, I'd ask everyone to again please rise as we welcome the new chief of the Elmwood Park Volunteer Fire Department forward to be installed, William Shadwell. Please be seated.
and follow you wherever you go. Beautiful job, gentlemen. Nicely done. Repeat after me. I
I, William Shadwell,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the government established
and to the government established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and
in this state under the authority
under the authority
of the people,
of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of the office of
all the duties of the office of
Fire Chief
Fire Chief
according to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Would the council like to have anything to say at this moment?
If I could.
Mr. Cherto?
So Elmwood Park is very blessed to have such an amazing, dedicated group of men and women in this community in the volunteer fire department. What you saw here tonight was a dedicated group going up throughout the ranks within the department. 4 fire chiefs being installed, and I believe with all 4 of them, they have probably a combined years of service and experience of definitely 60, maybe 80, I didn't do the math, but around probably 80 years of experience in dedicating to this community. In my experience throughout my years as a fireman, as a fire chief comes into the roles, a fire chief leaves the roles. And I believe that fire chief's goal is to make sure that he leaves the department better than he found it, building on the success and accomplishments of his predecessors. So with that, ex-chief Michael Pressler, you did do that. You took the department to a new level of success, building on the accomplishments of your predecessors. And I have no doubt, Billy, that you will do the same and take us to a next level of success throughout the department. Personally, I think of you as an outstanding man, an outstanding fireman, but more importantly, growing up throughout the department, I really see you as a dedicated, positive role model for every single person, including myself, throughout the department. And thank you, and congratulations.
Mr. Dombrowski?
Thank you, Mayor. Oh.
Make sure you get those flags out of the way. We don't want to miss Mr. Dombrowski.
Thank you. Mayor, I'd like to congratulate our Billy. I'd like to congratulate Mr. Sulik, Chief Sulik, Mr. Shavasta, and Mr. Bruce, and of course all the lieutenants and captains and second lieutenants. I'd just like to say, ladies and gentlemen, this fire department has had a very, very busy year so far. If I think I'm counting correctly, we're not even at the end of January. We're probably around 40 calls, if more, already for the month for this year. This fire department is dedicated 24/7, 365 days. You know, they're getting called out not only to the major fires like we just had last week or a week and a half ago, but, you know, they're getting called out for, you know, gas leaks, and they respond to everything. Anytime there's a call, they're constantly responding. And I can't be more proud of this department. The leadership from the top down has been A1. You're recognized throughout the county. You're recognized throughout the towns. You're an excellent, excellent group of men and women, and I thank you for the dedication, and Elmwood Park thanks you.
Mr. Vancino?
Yes, sir, thank you. I also would like to congratulate our new lieutenants, new captains, the new top leadership, including Chief of Department Chadwell. Wish you nothing but the best this year as you lead the department. We typically look at the letters EPFD, Elmwood Park Fire Department, but there's something kind of missing in between there is the word volunteer. And it's truly exceptional that this group of men and women take time out of their lives, away from their families, to dedicate it back to our community. It's something that we always have to remember. When we hear a siren, we kind of think of it as something happening somewhere else, but there's somebody giving up an important part of their life to help somebody else in our community. And what's been evident during my tenure on council is the leadership. It's evident in the mentoring of the younger members with the current leadership, and it keeps on building. So every year there's really never a gap. There's always somebody that steps into the role and does a fantastic job, and that's going to happen this year and years to come. So again, I thank everybody, and nothing but the best this year. Congratulations.
I'd like to finish with the council, their remarks before we go to the chief. So, Bill, just take a second there. Maggie?
Just wanted to echo the sentiments of my colleagues and congratulations to Chief Chadwell, our assistant chiefs, the battalion chiefs, the captain, lieutenant, second lieutenants that got sworn in, our outgoing chiefs. Chief Pressler, you did an amazing job. Like Anthony said, you've left the department in great standing. And just thank you, all of you in this room, for the services you provide, the sacrifices and the time you spend away from your families to save our families. Thank you.
Daniel?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to congratulate all the installed officers tonight. Chief Pressler, thank you for your service, and I wish you, Chief Shadwell, all the best in 2017. It's also great to see so many young members of our departments getting to department officer rank at this point in their careers. It's very nice to see. The community is very grateful for the service of the entire fire department. And more importantly, I think we look forward to making sure that you have the resources that you need to do your jobs effectively. So thank you, and good luck to all the officers.
Thank you, Daniel. Mr. Rock?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I would like to also, congratulate the lieutenants, the captains, Rob Bruce, Bob Shavasta, Mike Sulik, and Bill Shadwell. Well, I'd like to thank these members for your time and service that you donated to the town of Elmwood Park. We owe these volunteers a great debt of, gratitude for the time they spend training and fighting fires. They not only volunteer, they go into dangerous situations where there's a possibility they might lose their lives. So we have to really look at these gentlemen and the leadership of this group, because these guys teach these kids, teach these gentlemen and men and women how to fight fires safely, how to protect the residents of this town if there is a fire. I'd like to, once again, thank you all the firemen here, and I'd like to thank all of the firemen that showed up for this event. Thank you very much.
I think the council has said it all. I'll add a little. We are very, very blessed in this town. When I look back at the 5 or 6 chiefs that I've worked with in the period of time I've been here, it's amazing. And it seems like the system they have in place, how it kind of weeds the greater chiefs out and their ascension to the top. This is a remarkable system you have in place. Billy, I want to know, did you tell your wife you'll see her in 2 years? She knows that. Okay. And that's a true story. That is true. There's massive strain. The buck stops here with the chief. And for 2 years, he will do nothing but think about the fire department. And maybe on a spare moment, 1 or 2%, he'll be thinking otherwise. But 98% of the time. And he has to make it a great stint as the chief. Our former chief, and Mike, I never thought I'd be saying former, but that's where it's at. Did a great job. And And I can go on for an hour and a half about what he did, and I can go on for an hour and a half about what the previous chief did before that and the chief before that, because they've all been good. Now, Billy, I'm looking forward to really working with you. Billy's a different type of person, as the other chiefs are. So what he brings to the table is going to be different, and I can't wait to see it. Billy, would you like to say a few words? Yes, please.
My first order of business, I'd like to call up Chief Michael Presser. This time, I'd like to pin him with his ex-chief's badge. Thank you very much. Mr. Mayor, council members, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor to stand here tonight as your newly sworn in department chief. A little over a year ago, I suffered a heart attack while fighting a fire in town. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to continue or be healthy enough to continue as a firefighter. Is that better? I wasn't sure if I was going to be healthy enough to continue as a firefighter or a chief. It was a scary time for my family and I. I would like to thank the town and the department for all the support you've given to us. I would like to thank the police department, ambulance corps, mutual aid chiefs for the time mutual aid chiefs for taking the time out of their busy schedule to show support to this fire department. I would also like to thank our fire explorers, the newest branch of the fire department, for coming out tonight. When I was 5 years old, my father joined the fire department. I remember spending a lot of time with him at the firehouse. It was great. Most little boys dream of fire trucks and firemen. I lived that life. It was a little confusing for me at times. I had so many aunts and uncles that weren't actually related to my parents. But they were all still family to me. I remember as I got closer of age to joining, there was one common question being asked of me: are you going to join the fire department like your dad? My answer was no. I want to live out west in the mountains. You see how that worked out for me. When I turned 18, I asked the captain, Jack McGrath Jr., who's here tonight to help me, for an application to join the fire department. I was accepted as a member of Company 2. Now, 34 years later, I stand here as department chief. I know my father's watching over me, and he's very proud of my choice to stay in town and follow in his footsteps as a firefighter in service to our community. It is the guidance from my father and all the members of this department for all those years that have formed me into the firefighter and now chief that I am. I've seen this department pull together and work at being one of the best in the area. I've watched us work at overcoming hard and troubled times. I know what we can accomplish when we work together. I know the traditions of the department, and I will do everything I can to uphold those traditions. I look forward to working with the mayor and council to continue building on the foundations that our past chiefs and members have started. I would like to thank ex-chief Mike Pressler for all he accomplished in his term as chief. He worked hard writing that grant that we won, which paid for our new Scott packs. His hard work and leadership working with the council to reform our incentive program are just two examples of his dedication to this department and community. I plan on using his examples to guide me in leading this great department forward. Thank you. When people ask me about being a volunteer firefighter, I explain that it is a lifestyle. It is not a job, it's not a hobby. Some of us are born into it and follow our relatives. Others choose this path on their own as a way to help others. I explained that there are high costs with this lifestyle, the highest being time missed with your family. We are always on call 24/7. And when someone needs help, we leave everything behind and go. Our family dinners, birthday celebrations, holiday gatherings, and our children's events, to name just a few. Our families never know when we'll leave them to help others, but they all understand and accept it. It is with their support we continue this lifestyle. My mother always supported my father, and then both of us once I joined. Mom, I thank you for all your love and support. Mel, when we met 16 years ago, I warned you about dating a firefighter and about all the extra time I was going to have to give up being an officer. Lucky for me, you choose to stick with me. I don't remember a time when you ever complained about anything, Anything I needed, you've always gone out of your way to help and encourage me. I love you and thank you for your support. Members of this department, I believe we are heading in the right direction, and I will do everything I can to continue down that path. This year, we have a lot of new and young officers. I look forward to working with you all. I know we have the training and resources to handle the challenges ahead of us. Just remember, we're a big family, and working together, we will overcome all obstacles and bring each other home safely. Again, I would like to thank my friends and family that have joined us here tonight, and everyone is invited back to Company 2, Parkview Ave for some light refreshments. Thank you.
Repeat the colors. Present up. Order. Mark. Column 3. Right, quick, mark.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you heard, Mr. Shadwell openly invites you all to, I believe he said, Company 2 for festivities. We're going to take a short 5-minute break, so it'll allow you to exit if you want to. If not, you're welcome to stay with us. Mr. Kazmar?
Mayor, this evening under ordinances, we have Resolution R43-17, Introduction of Ordinance 17-02 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled, An Ordinance to Amend the Code of the Borough of Elmwood Park by amending Section 3-16 entitled Games of Chance and Raffles on Sunday be passed and adopted on first reading. Be it resolved that a final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the Municipal Building on Thursday, February 16th, 2017 at 8 p.m. or soon thereafter, as the same can be heard, at which time and place all persons interested in said ordinance may be heard. Be it further resolved that the Borough Clerk be and he is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing is required by law.
I guess this allows us on Sundays to gamble.
Not exactly.
Basically. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Mr. Dombrowski?
Second.
Maggie, second. Any discussion?
Mayor, through you, this ordinance change will allow the Borough Clerk's office to sign off on raffle licenses rather than having to wait for it to come to a council meeting, so it'll expedite the approval process for some of our nonprofit groups in the borough.
Thank you for that explanation. Call the roll, please.
On roll call, Councilmembers Churdo,
Yes.
Dombrowski,
Yes.
Golombek,
Yes.
Monsino,
Yes.
Work,
Yes.
Giandomenico.
Yes.
Motion carries. Our second reading on, our second resolution on first reading tonight is R44-17, Introduction of Ordinance 17-03 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled, an ordinance to amend the Code of the Borough of Elmwood Park, Chapter 3 thereof, entitled Police Regulations, to add a new section providing for the prohibition of overnight parking at the Elmwood Park Public Library, be passed and adopted on first reading, and be it resolved that a final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, February 16th, 2017, at 8 p.m. or soon thereafter, as same can be heard, at which time and place all persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it further resolved that the Borough Clerk be, and he is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing as required by law.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Vansino?
Second.
Work? Any discussion? This ordinance was brought to the council's attention by myself. I was at the last library meeting, and the director there had told me that, and actually told the whole board, that there was, she assumed it was neighbors who were parking in the parking lot of the library overnight, and that also that it was turned into Lover's Lane, and that we should do something about that. So that's what we're trying to prevent here. And Mr. Casmar, if you could just make a note to the police chief, and if council you disagree with me, please say so. But that first week, just to give the neighbors in the neighborhood a heads up on it, it should be like a warning, maybe a week or 14 days like that. This way, they get notified, and then after that, whatever has to happen will happen.
Mayor, we'll be posting a sign.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, there'll be a sign. Okay.
On
Any
roll.
further discussion? Call the roll, please.
On roll call, Councilmembers Churdo,
Yes.
Dombrowski,
Yes.
Golombek,
Yes.
Monsino,
Yes.
Work,
Yes.
Jim Domenico.
Yes.
Motion carries. Our next ordinance on first reading tonight is Resolution R45-17, Introduce Ordinance 17-04 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled, An Ordinance to Amend the Revised General Ordinances of the Borough of Elmwood Park by amending and supplementing Chapter 4-6 entitled Hawkers, Peddlers, and Solicitors to authorize no solicitation signs be passed and adopted on first reading, and be it resolved that a final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, February 16th, 2017, at 8 p.m. or soon thereafter, as same can be heard, at which time and place all persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it further resolved that the Borough Clerk be and is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing is required by law.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Maggie and Churdo. Any discussion?
Yes, Mayor, if I may. Mayor, under the section General Regulations B, it says that no person is allowed to sell or attempt to sell in accordance to the terms of the section before 9 a.m. or after 9 p.m. I would like to ask this council to change the 9 p.m. to 6 p.m. And the reason for that is, especially in the winter months, it gets dark pretty early. And I certainly don't want somebody coming to my door at 8:45 at night, knocking on the door. And since it'll be dark out, really, we don't want peddlers walking the streets at 9 o'clock or even 8:30 at night when it's complete dark out. So I would recommend changing it to 6 p.m. And this way, if peddlers want to, and they're authorized to go to that house before, they could go on a Saturday to catch them during work time.
So, Mr. Dombrowski, so I understand what you're saying, so that the council can thoroughly vet what you're saying, do you want to table this?
And that's one of the issues, and the other issue is I noticed that this ordinance doesn't have a penalty. There's no fee, there's no penalty fee to it, so yes, I would like to actually table it if we could.
All right, so
I'd like to motion that we table it, Mayor.
he's requesting a motion to table.
Dombrowski,
I'll second.
Seconded by Monsino.
Vansino first, need a second?
No,
Joe's.
Joe's the second. You're the second, you're the first, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved?
We'll add this to the work session for next week. Our next ordinance tonight on introduction will be Resolution R46-17, Introduce Ordinance 17-05 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance to Amend an Ordinance Entitled, An Ordinance to Establish the Water Department of the Borough of Elmwood Park, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to fix the rates and prices to be charged for the use of water and establish rules and regulations for the distribution, supply, use, and protection of said water and penalties for the violations of certain said rules and regulations be passed and adopted on first reading, and be it resolved that final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, February 16th, 2017 at 8 p.m. or soon thereafter, as the same can be heard, at which time and place all persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it further resolved that the Borough Clerk be and he is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing is required by law.
Motion, please.
So moved.
John Domenico. Second.
Second.
Churdo. Discussion. I'd just like to mention that this is a pass-on, that we are not escalating the water rates. It's something that we've been charged additionally, and we're just passing that on to the residents of the town, unfortunately. Out of our control, though. Call the roll, please.
On roll call, Councilmembers Churdo,
Yes.
Dombrowski,
Yes.
Golombek,
Yes.
Lonsino.
Yes.
Work.
Yes.
Giandomenico.
Yes.
Motion carries. Mayor, this evening, under ordinances on second reading, we have Resolution 47-17, introduce ordinance 17-01 on second reading. Whereas public notice has been given by the Borough Clerk that an ordinance entitled "An Ordinance to Rename Boulevard to Richard A. Mola Boulevard," and whereas said ordinance was introduced and passed at a meeting held on Thursday, January 5th, 2017, and that further consideration of this ordinance would be taken up at this meeting. And whereas all persons interested in said ordinance were given the opportunity to be heard concerning same, now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that an ordinance entitled "An Ordinance to Rename Boulevard to Richard A. Mola Boulevard, a.k.a. Mola Boulevard," pass on final reading. Mayor will need a motion to open to the public.
Motion to open to the public, please.
So moved.
Second.
Vansino and Churdo. Call the roll, please.
On roll call to open to the public, Councilmembers Churdo,
Yes.
Dombrowski.
Yes.
Golombek.
Yes.
Lonsino.
Yes.
Work.
Yes.
Giandomenico.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Does anyone from the public here to speak on this? Mr. Catamari.
Frank Caramagna, 126 Hubert Avenue, ex-councilman. And this is a good idea. I think something that people should remember, have told the sacrifice of the work he did, this man. As I said before, maybe him and I had many arguments, but it had nothing to do personal. It was only political. And really, it's a good idea. I'd be very happy to see his name on the boulevards. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank, and I'm sure you'll be up there on the dais when we're celebrating it, the moment. Anybody else care to speak on this matter? If not, I'll close the public portion. Motion to close the public portion, please.
So moved.
Dombrowski, Churdo, all in favor?
Aye.
Public portion is closed. Now, a motion on the ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Maggie and Vansino. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
On roll call, Councilmembers Churdo,
Yes.
Dombrowski,
Yes.
Golombek.
Yes.
Lonsino.
Yes.
Work.
Yes.
Giandomenico.
Yes.
Motion carries. Mayor, this evening, under the consent agenda, we have Resolution 48-17, payment of bills, Resolution 49-17, payment of escrow, Resolution 50-17, confirmation of payroll, Resolution 51-17, transfer of funds, Resolution 52-17, appoint part-time property maintenance officer in the building department, Nicholas Fedorsen, Resolution 53-17, a resolution supporting S-2663, and Assembly Bill 4234. Resolution 54-17, a resolution supporting the rehabilitation of bridge number 18.62, the Passaic River Project. Resolution 55-17, appoint volunteer firefighter Company 4, Paul Doyle. Resolution 56-17, a resolution to authorize the borough's co-sponsorship with the Rare is Beautiful 5K Run Walk. Resolution 57-17, authorize coin toss events, Defender Number 2. Resolution 58-17, a resolution to authorize a refund in the building department relative to 66 Orchard Street. Resolution 59-17, authorize execution of outside services contract with the police department. Resolution 60-17, award bid for the hockey rink to Halcon Inc. Resolution 61-17, authorize current estimate number 3 for pump station number 6 improvements. Resolution 62-17, authorize current estimate number 1, improvements to Summit Ave, North Street, Franklin Street, and Gall Avenue. Resolution 63-17, authorize execution of rental agreement for camera security system with Goosetown Communications. Resolution 64-17, approve funding for housing element and fair share plan, Calker and Calker, our municipal planner. Resolution 65-17, authorize salary adjustment due to educational stipend for the police dispatchers within the Elmwood Park Police Department. Resolution 66-17, renew 2016-2017 liquor license, Zelda Liquors. Resolution 67-17, authorize agreement for services, the municipal order, Lurch, Vinci, and Higgins LLP. Resolution 68-17, designate representative to the Bergen County Community Development Commission for 2016 through 2017. Resolution 69-17, resolution to retain Millennium Strategies temporary grant writer. Resolution 70-17, approval to submit a grant application and execute a grant contract with the New Jersey Department of Transportation for improvements to Lee Street and Orchard Street. And Resolution 61-17, a resolution to accept the consent agenda.
Motion on the consent agenda.
So moved.
Dombrowski?
Second.
Work? Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
On roll call, Councilmembers Churdo,
Yes.
Dombrowski?
Yes.
Golubek?
Yes.
Bonsino?
Yes.
Work?
Yes.
Giandomenico?
Yes.
Okay, and Mayor, under applications this evening, we have the Paramus PBA Local 186 Civic Association bingo application, St. Anne's Church bingo application, St. Anne's Church Tricky Tray raffle application, and St. Anne's Church 50/50 raffle application.
May I have a motion to approve the raffle application?
So moved.
Second.
Francino, Churdo. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
On roll call, Councilmembers Churdo,
Yes.
Dombrowski?
Yes.
Golubek?
Yes.
Bonsino?
Yes.
Work?
Yes.
Giandomenico?
Yes.
Mayor, that concludes my portion of the agenda.
Thank you, Keith. Council reports? Okay, we're going to take another brief pause for the cause here, ladies and gentlemen, with two this evening. We'll be back. Thank you, Wayne. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. Council reports, I'll start off with our attorney first. Anything to report?
Nothing to report, Mayor.
Thank you. Let's start with Mr. Work.
Thank you, Mayor. Once again, I'd like to congratulate Bill Shadwell, and Department Chief Mike Sulik, Bob Shavasta, and Rob Bruce as the Assistant Chiefs, 1st Battalion Chief and 2nd Battalion Chief, along with the officers, the captains, lieutenants. Like I said, I'd like to thank these, and I'd like to thank the fellow firefighters that came in to honor these men and women to, see these men, promoted. And like I said, we owe these volunteers a debt of gratitude for their time they spend training. Also like to thank, and I should have said it before, Mike Pressler for the service as Department Chief. He did a great job at the Elmwood Park Fire Department. He did a fantastic job, getting the program, where they get the stipends, and also the grant that he secured. Saved the town a lot of money on, the taxes with allowing them to get the additional equipment. Also like to welcome a new volunteer fireman, Paul Doyle, company number 4. Hopefully he was here tonight to see the ceremony. You can see that there's a lot of experiences in his fire department, and if he follows in the footsteps of these men, he'll do well. Also, the new department chief, assistant chief, battalion chief, and officers will be honored at a beefsteak being held at the VFW on Saturday on January 28th. You also heard the mayor and council approve an authorization of a coin toss events for Defender Company number 2 of the Elmwood Park Fire Department. So please make a donation when you see these firemen out holding coin tosses in order to purchase new equipment or get additional training. It's important, for them, any assistance they can secure will help them. Regarding the rec department, we got ongoing registration for a number of sports organizations in town. Elmwood Park Little League, Elmwood Park Girls Softball, the Crew Spring Soccer is occurring this month. Elmwood Park Little League in-person registration dates are January 21st and 28th, and the final date is February 11th. Elmwood Park Little League also has online registration. or you can go to Elmwood Parks Little League website, www.eplittleleague.com, to register your child online. Flyers have been sent out to the school system, so parents keep an eye out on the flyer. Elmwood Park Girls Softball in-person registration dates are January 21st, 25th, 28th. You can go to Elmwood Park's Girls Softball League's website, www.gslep.com, for more registration details. Both organizations do hold their Saturday in-person registration at the rec center from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., so come on down if you haven't signed up your child yet. The Elmwood Park's Crew Spring Soccer registration occurs online with the Recreation Department. The EP recreation basketball season is ongoing, currently entering its third week of the regular season, so if you want to come down to catch some games, the 7th and 8th grade teams play on Friday nights, and the 3rd and 4th and 5th and 6th grades start playing on Saturday morning and continue throughout Saturday. The EP indoor hockey has been ongoing since the middle of December. The young players that have the rink from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. and the older boys from the rink from 11 a.m. to 10 to 12:30 a.m. You can stop by, watch the children play. They have a great time playing. And just I know a lot of people are asking the major a question about indoor hockey. And yes, the answer is yes. There is a penalty box for high sticking. So the young men do have to be careful with the sticks. They try to keep them down, so they do get penalized. The recreation, if you haven't noticed, if you haven't received it, you should have received it by now, put out a recreation flyer where sports begins. And basically, this is an in-depth, detailed of a whole year, 2017. It basically goes from registration in January, registration occurrences in March, April. They go over opening days, Easter egg hunts, rec soccer, EP girls softball opening day. It goes into detail. So if you wanted to get any information, and if you received this flyer, they got phone numbers, websites, EP Recreation Program sign-up details, websites for the EP Bombers, EP Girls Softball, and EP Little League. So if you receive this, stick this on your refrigerator. It has all the details, so if you do think you forget, keep this thing. And like I said, it has all the details for the whole year of 2017. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Work. Mr. Dombrowski?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I'd like to congratulate again our officers for the fire department and wish Chief Bill Shadwell well. I also like to congratulate and welcome our new member, Paul Doyle. I happen to know his family, and this is a very nice young man, and I'm sure he's going to work his way up through the ranks as well. This Wednesday, for the homeowners, we will have our homeowners meeting at 7 p.m. at the Elmwood Park Senior Center, which is connected to the Recreation Center. Next week's guest speaker will be Roy Rigatano, our current CFO for the town. If anybody has any questions as to how the finances of this community are, Roy will be there to answer any questions. On the 27th of January, the homeowners will be sponsoring a bus trip to Sands Casino. It's a $30 fee. It's $25. You'll get a return of $25 play money and a $5 food voucher. That bus leaves at 10 a.m. from the Recreation Center. Our Chamber of Commerce, on February 18th, the Chamber of Commerce will be having a family fun bowling night at Parkway Lanes. It starts at 6:30 and it'll go to 8 p.m. It's going to be $25 per person. Each person gets 2 hours worth of bowling. They get pizza, soft drink, rental shoes, and as they leave, they'll get a return certificate for a return game at any time at Parkway Lanes. And then finally, tomorrow is the inauguration of our new president, and I'd like to first say thank you to President Obama for all that he has done in the last 8 years, and I wish our new president, Donald Trump, coming in, I wish him well. It's an important time in this country, and we have to be thankful for the services that we have and what we're going to get, and the rest progress.
Thank you, Mr. Dombrowski. Mr. Vancino?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. First, this month on the Planning Board, we approved 3 applications. We approved the minor subdivision, BioReference presented, and we approved a Phase 3 build-out in their building on River Road. And finally, we approved an application for Frank Motor Company on Route 46. We've reviewed all applications thoroughly, and I'm glad to report we approved all three. The construction committee, if you will, for the library capital improvement met again this week. It's our second meeting, and I think at least I speak for the members from our governing body that attended. I think we're making progress. We're looking at the project in total, not just as an addition, and we plan to do some benchmarking, review some surveys of residents, and we're planning to bring some residents in to talk to them about what they would like to see in our library before we move too far forward. So I think that process is moving along as expected, and I'm glad we got to a point where we can work together with the library board to move this project forward. New Jersey SEM, you know, we're a member of the New Jersey SEM, and we go out with that group for electric and gas commodity purchases, and I expect the electric auction to happen over the next month or so. So I should be in a position to give you information on the strike price for the electric commodity, probably next public meeting, but not then certainly in March. And finally, I'd like to also congratulate our newly installed officers on the fire department, specifically Chief Shadwell. I look forward to working with him and the entire department in 2017. And I want to thank outgoing Chief Pressler for his service to the community. We had the installations here today, and tomorrow we have another installation in Washington, D.C. at noon. And, it's been a divided campaign and election. But what's important tomorrow is the peaceful transition of power. It's unique to the United States. It doesn't happen in other countries. You can watch the news and see how other countries execute an election. And the most important thing you can take away tomorrow is that peaceful transition. And for young people out there, you should watch the events tomorrow. I can speak personally. I remember watching Reagan's inauguration in 1981, I believe it was, and I was in college doing homework, and that was the kind of first time it connected with me the importance or the magnitude of that event, where an outgoing administration left and a new group came in. So pay attention tomorrow. It's important to our democracy. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Foncino. This is John Domenico.
Thank you, Mayor. On behalf of the Finance Committee, we're just in the process of scheduling our first round of budget hearings, which will be open to the public and taking place within the next 3 weeks, and the date will be listed on our Borough Facebook page and our website, and like I said, it would be open to the public to attend. The next Board of Ed meeting is January 24th, and just like my other colleagues and we've done previously, I'd like to thank all of our outgoing chiefs, Chief Pressler, for all the work that you've done. Congratulate and welcome our new Fire Department Chief Shadwell and everybody else that got sworn in today, and just stay safe in 2017.
Thank you. Mr. Cherno.
Thank you. In the world of the Department of Public Works, they are finishing up some road repairs that are a result from various water main breaks, fixing potholes, finishing some of the tree pickup that's around town, and they are still going around to various parks, picking up some of the leaves that are left over from the fall. Although if you do have any concerns in town, potholes and whatnot, please do your best to address them to the Department of Public Works, and you can call 201-796-1009 and follow any prompts that might apply. Councilman Foncino did mention the library building committee meetings that we've had. I'm lucky enough to be on that group, and I'm greatly excited for the things that are to come. We've had 2 meetings so far, and I think they've been very positive, progressive meetings, and some of the key takeaways is that we're really working together to make sure that we build a better library learning center for the community that really consists of a positive, progressive environment that promotes comfort and fulfills the growing technological needs of every age throughout our community. I'm really excited and look forward to the great things that are going to come from that group. You saw on the agenda that you had a property maintenance officer. I'd like to think, when I first got on, I was trying to push for this position, this role, to help I don't want to say make Elmwood Park great again, but, to make Elmwood Park, a community where, there is some sort of policing out there in the property maintenance aspect, and I think Mr. Fedorsen does an excellent job with the community. Sometimes it's not the best job because you're pointing out things that are not well kept up, and some people don't want to face that hard truth. But keep up the great work. Thank you very much.
Very well put, Mr. Turto. And that has been a big improvement. I've noticed the complaints on maintenance have gone down considerably, so it was a good move on behalf of this council. Mr. Gollenbeck.
Thank you, Mayor. On Monday, January 9th, I attended the Board of Health reorganization meeting as their new liaison. The important piece of information that I'd like to pass on to the residents is that dog and cat licenses, the deadline is January 31st at the end of this month, and it helps the entire process when residents comply with that. The Board of Health is planning a rabies clinic in May. Date is forthcoming. And may also do a clinic in November. That is up in the air, as in past sessions the turnout wasn't so high, so the Board of Health will continue to discuss that. On February 2nd, next Thursday, the Bergen County Parks officials, in conjunction with Rutgers, will be here in this room from 7 to 9 p.m. To solicit input from the residents of Bergen County and Elmwood Park as to what their thoughts are on what should be included in the Bergen County Master Parks Plan. The county has partnered with Rutgers to develop a master plan for all 36 county parks, and it is relevant to us because Artesian Fields, or known as the Boulevard Woods, is a county park. And I know for many years, councils of the past, Mayor Mola worked very hard to try to get something done with that park. Many former council members Chowinski, Pettigano, Pellegrin, who were once on the council, I remember watching, fought very hard to get something done in that park. This is an opportunity for us as Elmwood Park to be heard. I attended a session last night in Paramus. They're going all over the county. I believe Councilman Dombrowski attended a session earlier in the week in Closter. So it's important that we let this committee know that Elmwood Park has not received the attention that other parks have received, specifically Artesian Fields. So I really do want to stress upon the residents, next week, Thursday, 7 o'clock, this is where we need the voices of the people to be heard so that we can get something. Thank you.
Very good. Daniel, just to expound on what you were saying, our administrator and I, yesterday were at the county, and we were talking to the powers to be there also. And it's really basically simple. The way I like to break it down, the county's got this lump of money that they have to divide amongst their parks in the county. And if we represent 3% of that dollar, give us our 3%. And if we're behind on that 3%, give us our 6%. So we're all actively pursuing this. This is something we all want without a doubt. Thank you. I'd just like to make mention, really congratulating this council on bipartisanly renaming the boulevard, Mola Boulevard. As Mr. Caramagna had said when he early came to the podium, that anyone who's been on this council for a while has dealt with Mr. Mola, and all the time you're not going to get the answers you would like or exactly what you would like. But you grew to respect the man for staying for 45 years, actually 47 years, 2 years as a councilman and 45 years as a mayor. And I'm getting a little taste of this job now, and my respect is going out the window for what that represents. Now, I've 50 days in, and I can't imagine 45 years. Well, let's just put it this way. If I was so lucky to be here 45 years as the mayor, I'd be 110 years old. And Daniel, how old are you, Daniel?
You don't read the paper, Mayor? 21, Mayor.
21. 21 and 45, that makes you 66 years old. That goes to show you the boundaries that were accomplished by our mayor, and it's going to be a great honor, and it's a nice thing. Congratulations to the promoted firemen. It goes without saying, I spoke prior about that before. And we all, Democrats, Republicans, independents, all want to wish our president tomorrow the best, and to keep our country safe, and keep it so we can come to these meetings like this and enjoy the democracy we live in, as opposed to some of them other situations out there. I had the opportunity yesterday to go to the Joint Insurance Fund JIF meeting. It was our reorganizational meeting. Budgets were set. Surplus was up due to the light winter of 2016, and hopefully that'll stay for 2017. Close to $8 million. Mr. Chewinski, I'm sure you're familiar with that, Mark. $8 million was what they like to keep, and they're maintaining that. Mr. Chewinski was the liaison a while back. Sometime in March, they'll be hosting their yearly Safety Awards breakfast, honoring towns with the best safety and lost time frequency records. And we're doing pretty good, by the way. I won't fill you on where we're at yet. There's still a couple of, about a month ago before the shutdown. Members of the council and the mayor and department heads are encouraged to attend. I will have a definitive date shortly. And that is going to conclude my report. And what I'd like to do at this point is to have a motion to open it to the public.
So moved.
Second.
Works and Dombrowski. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak? Let me first caution you that direct your questions to me, and if you need be, a councilman needs to speak on it, we will make that happen. Okay, Mr. Chewinski, you know the route?
How long I got? Is this working?
Yes.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay. Just a short, no, you mentioned about the joint insurance real quick, before I get into something else. Yes, that joint insurance fund, remember, was started by Jack, or gotten into by Jack McLaughlin when he was on the council, and my father.
And your father, right.
And it is doing very well. It was a great move. On another note, though, Bob, we talk about the mayor and Boulevard and all that, and respect for the mayor. I missed the last work meeting. I had some business out of town. I understand it went to about 11:15 because you tried. There's a new format now. You're going to have one public meeting, correct? And 2 work meetings. And you know, the mayor and I didn't see eye to eye on many things, but that was his baby was 2 work meetings and 2 public meetings. And I really don't have too much against having limiting the meetings, but I do have a problem with the public seeing the meetings, because if you know, and the mayor often said we were one of the most watched meetings on TV because a lot of seniors don't come. Now, our videographer is going to be here only 1 meeting a month, correct? How about we put him in the workroom and do at least one of the work meetings publicized? Because we can use it that way. He's dancing now.
He's saying yes, right?
Which might not be a bad idea, so the public can see the nuts and bolts and some of the things, because I understand that the public didn't get to comment at that last work meeting until about 11 o'clock. Right? Was that correct?
Would you like to speak?
I know they
They
spoke in the
weren't able to
beginning a few
in the
minutes,
beginning.
but at the end, after everything is said, is when you want to speak, and that didn't come till about 11 o'clock.
And I think there was the topic that related to schools, and the school board president, Mrs. Freitag, was there, so we asked her to join in the conversation. So
Yeah.
it is interactive should a
Yeah, but I
topic come up
understand
and
the public
somebody want to
comments
say
didn't come till
something.
around 11.
But you're right, they had 2 opportunities to speak,
Right.
and the second one
When you speak in the
was at
beginning of a
11.
meeting, you really don't see the agenda for the meeting until it's all over, you know what happens. And then at the end, when you want to comment, like something like right now, we can comment on anything that happened at the meeting.
Mayor, through
But
you, if I
be
may.
that as it may.
Excuse me, Mr. Chewinski.
Mr. Chewinski,
The
please allow
reason,
to come.
one of the reasons why it ended, they didn't get a chance to talk till 11:05 is because we just came off of a holiday session, and we had not had a work meeting in a month. So that it was a very, very long agenda to begin with.
No, I understand that.
So, and as everybody knows who does attend our public meetings, that's where, as we said, the nuts and the bolts, everything's worked out. So unfortunately, that particular meeting did run late because we did not have a work session prior to that, so everything was jammed into.
No, I can understand a little bit. Would you say on the average, the meeting would wind up for the public around 10 o'clock? At a work meeting?
About that,
Being
yeah.
that I've attended many work,
Yeah,
I've been at work
yeah.
many work, okay. So that's why I thought it was prudent that you maybe go back to the original 2 and 2, or get the videographer there, you're paying him anyway, maybe we can get him there one of the work meetings for the public to see.
Well, what we could do, Mr. Chewinski, we can consider what you're saying and bring it up at our next work meeting. And once again, this is an experiment. This council is not going to let anything get in their way in terms of pushing something off that should be done before calling an emergency meeting. So it's in its
No, I
infant state,
understand that, I
Rich.
understand, but I'm just saying for the benefit of the public, though, and we are one of the most watched, if you ever, I remember the mayor saying it many times, we were one of the most watched meetings.
And also, just on that note, there's always been a lot of talk of being progressive. And in a small way, this council's trying to do that, be a little different than in the past. So you have to bear with us as we experiment, but we're not going to experiment at your cost. That is for sure.
I appreciate that, Bob. Do. But on another note too, with the county park, back in the day when Mr. Conboy and I were on the council, we had that park all signed up to be given to us from the boulevard to Spidell from the county. The deed was sitting there for $1 to take that park, not the lower section from the boulevard down to the train tracks. And I thought that would be a prudent move for this town because up to that point, we were taking care of the upper park, as we want to call it, and we could have had that for $1, which was with ball fields and everything else in there. I did my homework extensively on that because the Waterworks property does have wells under there, and they gave us the parameters for, where their pump station was, where we could put ball fields and walking paths and what we could cover land with and everything. It might be prudent to look into that because, as the mayor once said, they're not making any more land, guys. That would be a centrally located park for future expansion of Elmwood Park right near your high school. And I'm sure if you talk to the right people at the county, they might be willing to give you that part. You still can have your walking path on the lower end from the boulevard down to the wetlands areas and leave that alone.
Mayor, if I could just
Sure.
jump in. Mr. Chewinski, I know the dollar proposition was on the table many years ago, and I want to say that I think it would still be a possibility. However, given that they're going through this master plan process, I think it would be wise for us to see what that plan produces, and if they have a plan to do something significant and substantial in artesian fields in the next, several years, it might make more sense to do that. However, if we're on the back end of the 2040 plan, and that's when they intend to get to it, that's
No,
maybe when we go to that plan.
I agree with you,
But
Dan.
I think we should see what their
Because you
plan
still
is.
have the bottom half of that park, you have tons of, and believe it or not, from the boulevard down, all the way down to the train tracks, that's not all wetlands either. You can delineate that. One more thing, gentlemen, you have the air conditioner on tonight with the heat blasting over here. It reminds me of the library with the extensive $50,000 a year electric bills. You have an extra pump downstairs, try and zone this room, and I said it once before, so you can turn this heat off without the rest of the building. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chewinski. Thank you. Anyone else care to speak? Mr. Pettigano? Name, address, serial number?
Glenn Pettigano, 34 Phillip Ave, Elmwood Park. A couple years ago, we lost towers in our town towers. We have a program where we have maybe 6 or 7 towers that we contract with. And due to zoning issues, we lost our 2 town towers, the 2 people that work in town. We lost them, and now we only have towers that are out of town. And I've been getting some information back from some residents. They're paying $200 when their car is being towed out of town. One person, I have names, I won't say them. I have one person at $200, one at $180, and another one at $260. And I believe before, when we had towers from our town, it would cost us $60 and a $25 fee for police. So I really think this is something that somebody needs to address. I've talked about it in the past. I've mentioned about a tow yard, because I believe that's the problem, is we don't have a place to put cars. So we need to help our residents. Some of these are elderly people. Occasionally, residents in town have lobbied for them with some of these towing companies to get their costs down. That's why some of these are different. But I would like to see us try and find a way to have towers from our town so that the cars don't leave town and it costs residents a lot more money than deemed necessary.
Mr. Pettigian, your words are not going unheard. Just this week, we were in meetings with one of the towers and got his side of the situation. And then had a meeting with our administrator and building department and the legal aspect. And what we have is we have a zoning problem. Well, I should say they have a zoning problem. Actually, within the zone, there is no towing allowed, something that got through us over time. But now, in order to rectify that, all they have to do is come into the zoning board and ask for a pre-existing non-conforming variance, and that would simply allow them to tow, with the exception of one other tower, and I won't mention his name. But he also can resolve his situation by additionally applying for a second variance at the zoning board. So I am of the same feelings you are about keeping it in town, if we can legally. And the towers that are in town have to qualify. And that is what we are working, that's our goal.
Right, okay. How soon is this being addressed?
Through you, Mayor, if I may.
Yes.
First, Glenn, I just want to clarify that the rates and all towing charge rates are set by ordinance, so they are applicable to towers regardless of whether they are in or out of town. What may have happened is, depending on the time in which the vehicle stays on the impound yard, each day there is a set rate. So depending on how quickly they get there, between the release from the police department and then going back to retrieve the vehicle, that may be why the rates varied, although I don't specifically know. But we have a draft ordinance that's being worked on and has gone back and forth between myself, the police chief, who's making some significant recommendations to change the towing ordinance, and the borough attorney over the last few weeks. So I expect either at the February 2nd or February 9th work sessions, a proposal will be made by the police chief on the towing ordinance to the full mayor and council.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your time, everybody, and have a happy new year.
Same to you, Glenn. Thank you. Anyone else care to speak?
Jeffrey Freitag, 35 Hillman Drive. Regarding the towing issue, hasn't there been a variance issued for one of the towers in the community currently?
Can you...
For the ability to store cars there?
Through you, Mayor, there is a resolution that was approved by the zoning board in 2008 concerning one of the towers on River Drive. But there is a restriction within that resolution restricting the tower from towing any vehicle unless it is there to be repaired. So police towing would fall outside of that category.
The auto body shop over there located by the Parkway Diner?
No, that's not the one I'm talking about.
But I believe there was some sort of variance issue.
The other two are pre-existing non-conforming uses.
Okay, yeah, those are I'm aware of.
Right.
Okay. Secondly, the survey regarding the Bergen County parks that Rutgers is conducting on behalf of the Bergen County parks, Is there any way, I know Mr. Churto had, Councilman Churto, I'll address you as, had the link on Facebook, at least maybe others did too, but I did see yours, and I know they're coming here February the 2nd, but in the meanwhile, is there any way that the link could be put on the town's website? So if a person wants to take the survey, I took it by going to Bergen County's website from his link, if it could be put right on the town's website.
Yeah, sure, we could do that.
Okay, and that way, if a person does want to take the survey, which allows you to express any ideas or anything you want to say about the parks, might permit that, and it could be done that way, and it would allow greater access for other individuals to do it right out of the town's website.
Yeah, I'll look it up on the councilman's Facebook. I don't recall getting any correspondence from the county about the survey. I did get a listing of public hearings that were to be held in January.
I think,
but we can certainly link it up.
If I could just add, Mayor, at the presentation, they actually show how many have taken the survey and what town they're from, and Elmwood Park is not on the top 10 or 20 or whatever they showed, so it would behoove our residents to take the survey.
but I mean, this way, at least it would be on there.
No, there is a survey on the county website and the Rutgers website.
Yeah, it's not really extensive, but it asks the questions, and there's comment sections if people want to add something to it. But, thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks, sir.
Mr. Freitag. Anyone else care to speak? 2 times in one night, Frank?
One was on the order.
I don't know that much vocabulary. Frank Aramagna, 126 Gilbert Avenue, Elmwood Park, New Jersey. And Mr. Coletti, you know, they talk about link, they talk about computers. You know what they're talking about?
No.
You know what link is?
No,
I don't blame you, because I don't know that.
it's all
What I want
Dutch.
to say first is that the sound is really poor here. I had people back there before, they say, what they say, what they talking about. Maybe now we should spend some money improving the sound. Put a speaker here someplace, you know, this way everybody can hear. Sometimes, you know, we laugh, we clap our hands. I don't know why we do that. We don't know why. Now, we talk about the park, and it's been many years. We've been after the county. I guess the mayor worked before us and during us to do something with the park. There was a time, yes, they want to give it to us for $1. And really, at first I said, oh my God, it's a good idea. But then I was thinking, and I talked to the mayor, and then he said, who's going to clean the park? It's going to cost us a lot of money to clean the park. All those trees down. So it was not a good idea at that time, you know. Maybe now, the county already gave us the walk path that we have. It's not bad, and I use it once in a while. Only if there is a coyote, I won't go there. Anyhow, there was a coyote by my house not too long ago, so they're still around. And maybe something should be done. Now, it was about 2 years ago, I asked an engineer to help me out, do a drawing for the park with the seats, lights. It was really nice. Maybe the 2nd of February, I may bring that with me. Also, I had a drawing for the marina, what we can do with the marina. Because really, I'm not saying, you know, this is a very natural country, but Europe, they have a lot of things they can do. I see marina, they look really beautiful. I get the idea, because I travel many times before and I saw beautiful things. I like to bring the ideas here. So the park, maybe they come, they help us to pay for and be that idea. Good. It's about time something will be done. Also, I just want to reinforce Mr. Dombrowski's announcement to the homeowner meeting for the 25th at Recreation. And we have, as I said before, we have a special speaker every month. And this speaker will be just to educate our people in Elmwood Park. At this time, you know, Mr. Roy Rigodano, our CFO, will be there, explain to people how the tax, our property tax is dispersed. So many people don't know that. Maybe he will clarify this for all of us. So I hope many people will come this way. And next month we have another guest speaker that I will announce some other time. The rest I want to say, I want to congratulate all the fire department for their promotion and also for helping us in town, for volunteering their time and keep us safe. Those guys deserve a big trophy. That's all I have to say. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Maggie, you look very nice over there.
Thank you.
Presidente.
Thank you.
Anybody else care to speak? State your name and address, please.
Kenneth Arabia, 34 Locust Street, Elmwood Park, New Jersey. Mayor and Councilman, I just know something new in town today that I think we should make a sign for it. Because people still think it's a two-way street on Mulberry Street to Locust Street. From Mulberry Street to Locust Street. But I'm saying you should have a sign say, no left turn on Mulberry Street.
We should advertise that, you're suggesting?
No, like put a sign, say no left turn.
Right,
This way people still think it's a two-way street. Because today I seen one car turn around in front of your city hall, trying to get around, because you still see, it said do not enter, but they don't see, it said do not turn. They still want to turn
Okay.
in the street.
We'll give that to our traffic specialist and for his consideration.
But that's what I think you should do. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm trying to figure no accidents, you know?
Absolutely.
Because if you see gonna be more cars coming around and go up the street, trying to turn down, and no good. Because you know one thing I want to tell you right now that you need to be done, a big sign, say Route 80 East on Locust Street. Because people think they go around, they see it, but they miss it. And they keep going down and then turn around in our street and go back down.
I don't think we can do anything about that other than suggest that.
Yeah, it's state.
Yeah, it's state. We can suggest it to the state, but we can't personally do anything about that.
But, it's on our street.
Yeah, no, I know. You get a lot of traffic on your street.
Right, but they should do, in the beginning, when they were building it, they were gonna put the enter sign on the road. But they never did it.
Yeah.
Because there was a way they were digging it up, they were gonna do it one time. I don't know if the mayor stopped it or something happened.
Okay. We'll take into consideration what you said.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Yes.
Victor Mikulovsky, 8 Augusta Street. I believe like a public meeting ago, former Councilman Conboy was up here and he mentioned something about the tank, the M56 on Boulevard and Market Street. I did bring up some of this information many years ago when I was a teenager with Dan here and just kind of informed the council about the situation, about the actual tank. But it just come to my attention, maybe we should just revisit that and just more about clarify some of its history so people, present generations and future, can really appreciate it. So over the past couple of weeks, I have been doing some research again, bringing out some older documents I found and compiled, a fairly decent research report on the M56 Scorpion that's in between. And I will be more than happy to distribute that to the council and the mayor after the meeting. Just to give you some history about it, after the Second World War, after the 101st Airborne and the 82nd Airborne dropped into Europe and essentially made two fronts, they knew that they actually had to have an anti-tank vehicle that would be with the paratroopers themselves to combat enemy armored personnel, to basically make more an effective military maneuvers. Well, we all know we ended up winning the Second World War, pretty well. But when we started going to engagements in Korea, we realized that we really needed a mobile anti-tank vehicle. This is when the M56 Scorpion came into play. The prototype started out in 1953, and production lasted until 1959, and 325 of these tanks were made. There's only 18 left. in the United States. That's it. That's all they know that's up. And one of them is actually, like I said, in between on Market and Boulevard, and I think it's really special to have that there. But just to give you some history about it, it's a lightweight, aluminum-made tank that can be dropped from transport planes, transported by helicopter or a glider itself. Once it hits the ground, it can be put together in about a minute. It's a, excuse me, it's a very advanced type anti-tank support vehicle. Go up to 30 miles an hour and 140 miles in distance. It's a great tank. But obviously some downsides, I'm sure, as we looked all around it, there's barely any armor around it. So the crew is completely exposed to a variety of elements, including the weather and battlefield factors. And the only protection is that little shield in the front for the driver. But the four-man crew definitely did a great job in Vietnam. In the Battle of Dak II, Junction City, they provide support to the South Vietnamese and the American Armed Forces at the time. Later on, it was more of like a support role from the distance of 1,500 meters, since it didn't have so much armor on the tank itself. And following the war in Vietnam after 1975, some of the tanks were used in the West Sahara War in Africa. But anyways, I just wanted to let everyone know about it, some history about it. Maybe you appreciate it. Maybe one of these days we'll put maybe like a plaque with a little profile around it, explaining some of it. So when someone goes up to the tank, so, what's the history behind it? Why is it here? Where did it come from? People understand it, not confuse it for anything. It could have easily simply been one of those plows that made the airfield strips on Midway. I'd be proud to just have that in between Boulevard and Market Street. But we actually have one of the last mobile anti-tank pieces ever made by the United States Army. Thank you.
And we should actually do what you're saying, have a plaque made describing the history of that tank. And that's why it was so important that that tank stayed here and didn't leave us. So thank you very much for the informative knowledge that you just passed on to us. Yeah. And Keith, to this gentleman's point, can we consider or bring it up at the next council work meeting, a little plaque that we can have done now so that we're prepared for when we reset the tank in its location, which is going to be 20 feet back, 20 or 18 feet back. It's not going to move from the corner.
Sure. If Victor wants to reach out to me, we might be able to come up with some proper verbiage, since you've done extensive research on this. And then we can prepare something to show to the governing body.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Victor.
Can I also?
Yes, please.
Victor, thank you. You reached out to me last week in an email in regards to the information I wrote back to you. That would be something good for us to review. And Mayor Coletti formed a Veterans Committee. I don't know the official name for it yet. All right. So it'd be myself, Councilman Goldbeck, and Councilman Work, and I think it'd be great to review it into our larger scheme of building a Veterans Memorial for the town. So, thank you.
Anybody else care to speak? If not, I'll close the public portion. A motion to close the public portion?
So moved.
Second.
Dombrowski, Work. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Dombrowski and Vancino, all in favor? And ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to remind you, this meeting was videotaped and will be on Cablevision, Channel 77, on Tuesday at 12 p.m., Thursday at 4 p.m., and Friday at 10 a.m. The video is also available on the borough's website at www.elmwoodparknewjersey.us. Thank you and good night.